up guys, INSANEDRUMMER. So I thought I'd do a video today on the store I work at and teach drums at, called Fireball Music. I'm coming up on it right now. It's this red building right up here. Yeah, it doesn't look like a lot, but it gave me my first job, you know. It gave me my first real job. My first job was my dad's construction company job, but this job was like, you know, the first thing in what I do, teaching drums. You know, I'm going to school, I'm going to UTC right now for music education, so that's what I eventually plan on doing, you know. And I just want to say, I really appreciate, you know, Karen Lane. Karen Lane was is the lady that owns the store, and she gave me my first real shot, you know. I didn't have any teaching experience. Well, I had a little bit of private instruction that I did. I taught some students, you know, for private instruction for a little bit. It wasn't even that long, but she took me on as a teacher, and I've almost worked there a year now. Here a year now, and it, you know, it's a small building, but it changes a lot of children's lives, you know, and I'm glad to be a part of that as young as I am and still in college. You know, normally people don't get teaching jobs until after they're out of college, but it's going to be a great thing for me to do while I'm in college right now. And you know, I love teaching kids because, for one, it raises their self-confidence. You know, kids, you know, a kid can be beat down so easily by school and, you know, everything else, and I get to go in there and I get to teach them. And you know, and music is really logical too. You know, there's nothing illogical about music. It's all based on scales and really a lot of math involved, and so it's really good for kids to learn music, period. So I'm glad I'm a part of that. But let's go check out the store. So let's go in. As you can see, they have lots of musical equipment they sell, and this little waiting room for customers, little TV, kinds of acoustic guitars, and just, you know, nice little store that sells everything you can imagine. Bunch of sticks, cases. And then we get to my section. I got the little drum pad right there to teach, you know, snare stuff off of and things. And then I got this kit that I teach off of. It's a Roland. Yeah, it's a Roland TD8. It's pretty nice. It's a pretty nice little kit. Got the Pentake heads on it. So let's check it out. Finally gonna hear me on a decent kit. Yeah, this is my teaching bag. Obviously I use it to teach out of. I got lots of books, as you can see. And I usually have my big folder right in there, but I don't have it today. So, these are the two main books I teach out of, though. A funky primer. Okay, what this book does is, sorry the camera keeps moving there. This book shows the student, you know, first of all, it shows the student lots of meters and, you know, basically how to read. I'm not going to say every rhythm, but every standard rhythm okay, pretty much, with the bass drum on the downbeats. Then after it does that, then it goes into, you know, just standard eighth note beats. That's what this whole book is about. All eighth note beats. And it goes from, as you can see, really straight up plain eighth note beats with some bass drums on the end. That's still basically the same stuff. But then it gets into like hand independence, as you can see there, with the snare on the same hand as the hi-hat. And then it goes nuts with the hand independence, which is really good. Then it goes into foot independence, as you can see that bass drum there is on the all kinds of bass drums on the The next page it gets more complicated. There's one bass drum on the E, you can see there. So it completely, I mean, it is the book for beginner independence, which is what beginner drums is all about. You can see there the bass drums doing the and pattern, and you know, all kinds of combinations. And so, you know, I don't have that many students that are actually even this far into the book. With the bass drum on the 1 and the E. I don't even have any students that are that, well, I have one student that's that far into the book. I have his name written down right there. But, I mean, it gets nuts, man. And this is basically, you know, it's based on rock drumming, so there's a lot of, like, dull bass kind of stuff in here, too. And then it just gets nuts. Nuts. All kinds of stuff. So, yeah. And then it even goes into where it changes up the, let's see, where does it change it? Changes up the ostinato on the hi-hat instead of just being eighth notes. Let's see, where's that at? Right there. See how the hi-hat's going 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a, so it's got that samba kind of hi-hat going on. So I mean, it's got, you know, a bunch of tripled stuff here in the back. So I mean, this book is really good. Really good. Everybody pretty much knows about it that teaches drums. A Funky Primer. I always say The Funky Primer, but it's actually A by Chris Dound. Sorry, I'm probably not saying that right. But I'd use that for drum set teaching. Then I use this for just plain reading and snare stuff. Because, you know, with drum set you have your hands and you have your feet. So, you know, this book is more about putting your hands and your feet together, you know, with drum set stuff. And this book is just straight up about getting your hands better in the first place. Okay? This book's by Dave Rawls. And it's called The Reading Drummer. The Berkeley Press. You know it's good. It's by the Berkeley Press. But yeah, it basically, you know, everybody uses syncopation to teach reading, but I honestly think this is better because of how it transitions. Like, you got quarter notes right here, okay, quarter rests, then it goes straight into eighth notes, okay, eighths, quarters, then, I mean, it's just really logical. You know, then it does a whole bunch of eighth note quarter combinations still with quarter rests. You know, then it goes to half rests right there. You know, you got some half rest stuff. Then it goes into the ever famous eighth note rest. Okay? You got your syncopation going already.
I'm sorry, I keep interrupting you, but
you're
fine. You can play now. Thanks.
There's Lori, the manager of the store. So, as you can see, still eighth note rest stuff. Then you got ties. Tied notes. And then dotted quarter. Dotted quarter. The syncopation goes straight from eighth notes to dotted eighth notes. And I think that's really weird. This book introduces sixteenths before it introduced dotted eighth notes, which makes a lot more sense to me. This book's progression just makes a lot more sense to me in the first place. You know? Then you got the duet thing, snare books and drum books always do, with the teacher and the student. Then it goes to sixteenths. So I mean, there's no reason for me to go through this whole book. But as you can probably tell already, I have a note in there in the book. As you can probably tell already, it's really logical. I suggest this for anybody who's learning how to begin playing snare. You know, this is great for anybody like that. So, totally. In the back here, I mean, you got everything. You got rolls, you got accents, you know, dynamics, everything, man. So yeah, those are the two main books I teach out of. And right now, I really don't have anybody that's more than beginner. Now, I will say I haven't used this book very much, but this book is really good too. Fresh Approach to Snare Drum, because what it does is it first of all, it does stickings. You know, there's not a whole lot of books that, well, there is a whole lot of books, but has stickings. And you know, I just think, honestly, I think this book has a little bit too much to swallow for a beginner. They'll look at one page, as you can see, one page has 3 sections on it, a top, a middle, and a bottom. And as a beginner, I mean, I would just get overwhelmed with all this information. So that's why I normally teach reading and rudiments almost kind of separately. I explain, you know, how rudiments, they are all about getting your hands better, but I kind of take it one at a time, you know, so that the student doesn't get, you know, too much at once. So yeah, this book's really good too. I honestly haven't used it that much either, but I mean, it has 8th rests here. But unlike the other book, which would talk about rules way later on, which kind of makes sense to me anyways, this starts already showing you rudiments. And I get it. I mean, it's for the teacher to remember to, you know, for one, to teach rudiments, and for two, for the student to know about it early on. You know, rudiments are everything. So, no, I'm not going to show all this book, but it's got CDs with it and everything. So, yep. But yeah, those are the two main books I teach out of. So let's see, what number we're going to do now. Let's do 31. So as you can see, that's 31. Show me that, man. Good. Now what count is that on? That bass drum.
And of 2.
And of 2. Good. What count is that bass drum on?
And 3.
Yep. Alright. So try 32 for me. What's weird about 32?
It has the snare before the bass. And it doesn't start out.
Yeah, it doesn't have a bass drum on 1. And what's weird about that? What do we know that 1 is?
It's all the time, most of the time, the bass drum.
Yeah, 1 is the strongest beat in our music. If you don't have a bass drum on 1, you're just playing weird. Like, you're playing weird, not playing weird. You're playing weird. Like, the music is weird because the 1 always starts out the music, and the 1 is always the strongest beat in music. So let's try a 32, where you don't have a 1, a direct 1.
No. Yeah.
Very good, dude. And you feel that and power, that upbeat. That's the upbeat, because the downbeat is the 1, 2, 3, 4, but the upbeat is the ands, right? So you feel that upbeat power, you know? Yeah. So let's check out 33. Try out 33.
No.
Almost.
No,
It's weird, isn't it?
yeah.
Try it again.
No.
That's it, yeah. Good. And once you play it over and over again, it starts to sound like there is a 1 in there.
Yeah.
That's because the way the beat is written, it sounds like the 1 is right there. Boom, boom, tap, boom, boom, tap, boom. So it's kind of, the beat starts at a place you don't expect. You see that? So it's kind of like they inverted the beat. When you invert something, you don't start in a place you think you're going to start.
Yeah.
So, okay, cool. So let's start doing these 2 measure exercises here. Here's Brendan once again. I told him to practice his triplet sticking, and he's come back with amazement. He's even got his stick heights really well. You can see his accents are really high and his taps are really low, and that's something that you only get with practice. So now let's put it in time, okay? But now, Ethan's a great student, man. He always takes what I tell him to practice, and he just blows it out of the water the next time. So right now we're working on hand independence, right, Ethan? We're putting the snare on the and we just got done doing the bass drum on the So just go ahead and play two. Just go ahead and play two right quick. Yeah, he's got that down. He's got that down. So now we're working on the snare on the So let's check that out. Let's try number 6 again. Almost. Almost. So we got one in, two in, da, right? Boom, boom, tap, tap, boom, boom, tap. Yeah, take it slower. Take it slower. Boom, boom, tap, tap, boom, boom, tap. This is Cody, and he's definitely one of my best students. He's very interesting because I've never taught him anything technical. He honestly does not know how to read music. He's all by ear, and it's fun because he brings in CDs every time, and we always play off the CDs. He always shows me amazingly before I even show him how to play it, the exact way the guy plays it on the CD. He always plays it his way, and it always is very cool. He's a really cool drummer. Show us what you got, Cody. You can tell he's got a lot of independence. And that's all self-taught independence too. He would be a very good studio drummer because he's really really constant. Give us some fills, man. Show us a Chad Smith bait, Cody. Chad Smith, yeah. He loves chili peppers. Danny, California. Right? I could tell just by the entrance. So he's a real talented guy. Would you recommend my drum lessons, Cody? Would you recommend my drum lessons?
Yep.
Well, another day of teaching down. It's always fun. I like it. I hope you guys like this video. I wanted to show off, you know, where I teach, how I teach, you know, what I teach out of, and a little bit of how my students are doing. It wasn't the greatest example of how my students are doing, but I got about 12 over there at Fireball right now, and it's really cool. I love teaching, and I love how one day it's gonna benefit me a lot more because I'm gonna be able to teach in either a school for a nice salary, or, you know, in college as a professor after I get my master's degree. It's all part of the plan. I'm a smart musician. I'm not just gonna get in a band and try to make thousands off playing gigs. I would love to do that. Don't get me wrong. That is actually something I would love to do, tour and have fun. But we all know it's risky. It's very risky. Unlike getting a degree and actually, you know, society loves you more too. Society doesn't love music majors. Society makes fun of music majors. But besides that, society loves degrees a lot better than I played at whatever gig, when, and where. So, but yeah. With that being said, I would love to have a band right now. I kind of want to do it all, you know, teach, be in a band, be in school, try to get the best of everything. You know, my life's going really good right now. I'm teaching, and I'm teaching a lot this summer, and I'm working with my dad with artists in construction, so that gives me even more change, and I'm saving up to get a new drum set so I can actually get some respect from you people on YouTube who only think a drummer's good if his set's good. But I guess that's enough for today. appreciate you guys watching, and check out what I got in store for you next.